Today, I'm gonna talk about 5 things that I wish I knew when starting to lose weight. So I struggled with yo-yo dieting for over 10 years, and I would just lose the same 15 to 20 pounds over and over again.
Keep your girlish figure, you'll be young as time goes by. Figures never, never lie.
Keep your girlish figure.
Well, here I go.
Once I learned these 5 things, I was able to change my approach and stop yo-yo dieting. So if you want to lose body fat without putting it back on, listen up. So thing I wish I knew, number 1, is that there are no good or bad foods and you don't need to be restrictive. I always blamed myself for not having enough willpower to stick to my diet, and I'd cut my calories down low and stick to like the healthiest foods I could. But as soon as I slipped up even just a little bit or ate something slightly bad, then in my head, the day was ruined. I like to compare this to an analogy about cracking your phone screen. So if you dropped your phone on the ground and you picked it up and you saw there was a crack in the screen, would you be like, oh, it's ruined now, I'm just gonna keep smashing it on the ground over and over, who cares? No, you would pick it up, you'd be more careful, maybe get a case, and that would be that. So it's the same idea with your nutrition. Just because you ate a little something doesn't mean that the entire day is ruined. And what I also didn't realize was that when you're being so restrictive like this, you miss out on essential nutrients that help you feel better and perform in your workouts at your best. So I was actually just making my cravings even worse because I was missing out on foods and things that I needed. If you're feeling that way too, it's not necessarily an issue of willpower. It's an issue of your body not being properly fueled. So instead of looking at things as good foods or bad foods, remember that instead it's that some foods you want to have a little more of and some foods you want to have a little less of. Thing that I wish I knew, number 2, is that women's calorie needs fluctuate throughout the month. Do you ever wonder why some weeks you can stay on track and you feel great, and then others you just feel like you want to eat everything in sight?
Puppies, look, yummy, yummies, yummies.
By a certain point in my journey, I was starting to get really frustrated because even though I was eating foods I enjoyed and I wasn't eating super low calorie anymore, it was still a struggle to really stay consistent, and certain weeks I would just really fall off track. I learned that this is because we actually shouldn't be eating the same every single week like the way men can. This is because of hormonal fluctuations. So what works well this week and feels great this week may not have the same effect a week or 2 from now. And I found a really similar thing happened with workouts as well, just fluctuations, things that I never knew. And I'm gonna be covering that later on in the video, so stay tuned, stick around. Baxter was a sad, needy boy on the floor, so he's gonna join us for thing I wish I knew, number 3. And that is that the circumstances do not have to be perfect in order to get started or even to keep going. So I used to do a lot of musical theater, and when the shows were being put on, I would end up putting on weight because I wouldn't be in my regular perfect routine anymore, and I just would start overeating and just kind of losing control. And it was to the point where I'd feel really bloated and like my costumes wouldn't fit as well. Since I always thought that the circumstances had to be perfect in order to get started, I only knew how to maintain my results under very specific circumstances. So then any little change and things would just be out the window and I'd be like, I can't do it anymore. And that was just a pile of baloney, right, Baxter Bean? A pile of baloney. Once I understood that you don't need to be all or nothing and that you can always just take small little steps, then I was able to maintain my weight in any type of scenario. Maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, but I have kids. Is this gonna work for me? Laura just has Baxter. That's not the same. Well, the answer is yes, it does still apply to you. I am going to show you Barkley, who had the same types of doubts and fears and wondered if she could still do it. And you're gonna see that she could. And that means you can too.
One of the reasons I wanted to really get into good shape was because I'm right on the cusp of 40. And I thought, you know what, this is the time I want to do it. But I thought, well, is Laura maybe, you know, she's younger, her metabolism's higher. You know, I have 2 kids, so I just wasn't quite sure if it was attainable or not. But I'm so glad that I didn't listen to myself.
So thing I wish I knew, number 4, is that more is not always better when it comes to working out, and recovery is just as important as the workout itself. Maybe even a little bit more important. When I first got into working out, I'd be so proud because I was known as the girl that spent hours in the gym. When I was leaving my workouts, the people at the front desk would be like, oh my God, you're still here? You work out for so long. I was seeing results, but I felt like for the amount of effort I was putting in, it really wasn't that much. And I kept on wondering, like, why am I not seeing more definition in my muscles? Why am I not just seeing more changes? The problem was I wasn't fully recovered by the time my next workout came around, so then I wasn't able to improve and get stronger, and that is the key thing for seeing results. So then I'd be like stuck at a plateau. So you want to think of it this way. If you had a garden, would you water it for hours and hours? No, that would just ruin it. Instead, you would do a little bit each day. So by being patient and prioritizing recovery, my results actually started to improve and get a lot better. And a benefit was this made it easier to not binge and overeat as well, because when I was overdoing my workouts so much, I was putting my body under so much stress. And when you do this, you raise your cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, and that often makes you feel hungrier, more bloated, you retain water. So it's just overall not beneficial like you would think it would be. Thing I wish I knew, number 5, is you're not gonna feel your strongest every single week of the month. I used to carry a notebook around with me at the gym, and I would always track all my sets, and every single workout I would aim to try and beat the last workout. So this one day I had an exceptionally good leg day, and I was really excited to record my new heavier weights.
What's wrong, babes?
Like a week or so later, I did that same workout, I'm hoping I could beat it a little bit. But to my disappointment, I couldn't even do that weight while maintaining proper form. Like everything felt really heavy, and I was so frustrated because this would always happen, and I would just keep trying to push through only to just feel really drained and sore for my next few workouts, and then those workouts wouldn't be very good either. Where you're at in your cycle can dramatically affect your workouts. Like I mentioned in Thing I Wish I Knew, point number 2, is because of fluctuating hormones, your body's not gonna respond to the same things week in and week out. So it's the same thing for your workouts. You're not always gonna have the same level of strength, stamina, or balance. So it really is okay to listen to your body and adjust how much effort you're putting in depending on the week of the month. And I go into a lot more detail on how to know how to do this in my video that's going to be linked above and linked in the description box below. It's about how to train on your period, so check that one out. But yeah, it's just really about knowing that every single week you're not going to be getting stronger, at least once you pass the beginner phase. It's more so about over the long term you want to see improvements, not week to week. The reason why all 5 of these things helped me stop yo-yo dieting is because when you follow these things, staying fit doesn't feel like this massive task that takes away from your life. Instead, it feels like it's enhancing your life because you still get to do the things that you enjoy. And of course, this is gonna make it easier to stay on track because it feels like a lifestyle and not just a quick fix. All right, and those are my 5 things that I wish I knew when trying to lose weight. This would have made my life so much easier, would have saved years of yo-yo dieting. So hopefully you guys can take this, apply it to your life, and make everything so much easier. These are the types of concepts I teach my clients. So if you're interested in getting help with this, check out the links, or not the links, but my, wait, where do they check that? Would they email us? Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Oh, God. If you're interested on joining the coaching program and getting more information on that, check out my description box below. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out some of my other videos that are linked around, and we will see you in the next one.